Hey there, so today we are going to fill in our cladogram notes. This is packet page 114. So what we have here is an example of a cladogram. And remember, cladograms are used to show the evolutionary relationship among a group of organisms. So here I have sharks, ray-finned fish, amphibians, primates, rodents and rabbits, crocodiles, and then dinosaurs and birds. So those are along the top. And then here along the actual cladogram, I have different physical characteristics that are present in these organisms. So for example, when I am reading a cladogram, I start down here at the bottom, and it's basically like moving through time. So here's, the beginning or point A, whenever you want to start. And then as you move through time, you develop vertebrae and then develop bony skeleton, 4 limbs, amniotic egg, and pre-orbital fenestra. I don't think I'm reading that correctly. It printed out weird. But anyways, so as you move through time, you are developing new characteristics. And so we can see how closely or distantly related an organism or groups of organisms are to each other based on how many characteristics they have in common. So for example, if I look down here at vertebrae, right? So vertebrae develop first. And then all of the branching lines for the organisms are after the vertebrae, which tells me that all of these organisms contain a vertebrae. Your vertebrae is your spinal cord. But then I have bony skeleton. So because sharks, right, evolved before the bony skeleton, sharks only have this one characteristic, vertebrae, and they do not contain any characteristics after that. So let's take a look at our questions down here, see if we can't figure out how to read our cladogram. So which organisms are most closely related according to the cladogram? So when I take a look at this cladogram, I see a couple of places where 2 organisms kind of diverge from each other. So because these branches are really close together, that means they're closely related. So I could say that primates and rodents, rabbits are closely related. And I could also say crocodiles and dinosaurs and birds, they are also closely related, right? Because their branches are very close. Which organisms have a bony skeleton? So again, here's where bony skeleton evolved. So basically every branch after that, those organisms would have bony skeletons. So I would say the fish, the amphibians, primates, and then I'm just going to put rodents, but it's rodents, rabbits, crocodiles, and then dinosaurs and birds. So all of these organisms have bony skeleton because bony skeleton, right, developed first, and then we got all of the organisms. Which organisms don't have a bony skeleton? Well, that would be just this one branching line, right? Because sharks developed before the bony skeleton. So I would say sharks. And then which organisms are most closely related to primates? So basically I'm going to start at primates and I'm going to work my way backwards And the next closest line that I see is for rodents and rabbits. Rodents and rabbits. And then, did forelimbs or amniotic egg evolve first or earliest? So I'm looking at forelimbs, and then I'm looking at amniotic egg. So basically, we're wanting to know which of those characteristics evolve first or evolve the earliest in the evolutionary history. So the closest, right, the very first thing that developed was the vertebrae. So of forelimbs and amniotic egg, the first of these two to develop is forelimbs. So, right, forelimbs, right, we have amphibians and then everything after that. But the amniotic egg didn't develop until after amphibians, fish, and sharks. Right, so everything after this point has an amniotic egg. Everything after this point has four limbs. So amphibians have four limbs, but they do not have an amniotic egg. So that's how we read and interpret cladograms. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Thanks.